Hello, today I'm gonna try to take this out to replace the engine. As you can see, the engine is torn apart. This RTV was overheating, so they pulled the head off of it and left it in the elements, and it got like that. What I'm trying to do is to transplant this engine out of this mower into the RTV and see what I have to do and see how it goes. Stay tuned, I will keep updating. So far I've taken off the bed. That was pretty easy. Just a bolt there and a bolt there, and the one for the hydraulic ram that pushes it up and down. And I've disconnected a couple connectors. Everything very simple. I pressure washed it so it could be a little cleaner, but I'm going to be referring to the manual and see how it goes. The first thing I have to do is take the tires off and try to pull off this bottom assembly here, the one that has the axles and connects to the leaf springs. But I'll keep you guys updated. So far I've disconnected this line, and basically that's all I've done because I really haven't had time. But now I'm gonna dig into this. I'm not gonna rip that motor out yet because I'm waiting for an adapter so I could do a compression test just to make sure this engine is good. It has 5,000 hours on it. It runs good, it doesn't smoke. It sounds perfect, but I just want to make sure before I do it. If not, I have 2 more mowers over here that I could use for the engine. But I'll keep you guys updated as I go. So here you have to remove this clip, that way the boot can slide off. You have to remove these 4 bolts, as you can see me doing now. This will allow the axle to drop. There's a set of 4 on each side. Once you remove the 4 bolts on each side, as you can see, the axle will just drop and swing back like that. Alright, so we got the rear axle off. What you have to do, as I showed previously, is there's 4 bolts, 1, 2 on the other side. You basically take those off. There's a boot right here that you could slide off if you can, or remove the lock that's there. And then these slide right out. And to align them, I don't know if you can see, there's a master, well, a different splint, whatever it's called, a tooth, so you really can't misalign it. But once the axle drops, mine dropped back, like it just dropped back and it wouldn't come off. I just had a yank right here and then they came off on both sides. So far, that's all we've gotten. Alright, so it's almost ready to pull out. So what you basically have to disconnect are all the lines that are coming from the body to the drivetrain. You gotta disconnect the hoses, all the hoses that go to the hydraulic pump. It says to disconnect both of these and remove this piece, but I figured I could do that once it's out. You gotta disconnect all the lines that go here. And if yours has an AC compressor, there's nothing in the manual about it that I found, so what I just did was I unbolted it. I don't know if you can see it over there. It goes right here, and I pushed it where the battery goes. I'll show you. I just placed it here, that way I don't disconnect it. Then you gotta undo the radiator hose. It's basically all ready to go, the fuel line. Mine was already partly taken apart, but it wasn't that much done. You disconnect the alternator, all the wiring harness from the body to the engine. The brake line, one thing I thought I had to disconnect this bolt so I could just disconnect the hose, but you actually disconnect the whole assembly. It mounts right there. And then there's another, this thing goes right there. You undo that. Don't forget the ground to the body. Next I have to drop it and disconnect this. I'll show you on the other side. All the lines I disconnected. These all go in there. It's pretty easy itself. It's pretty straightforward on how to do it. It's nothing too hard. So I'm about to pull the assembly out. I'll update you guys once it's out. Alright, so I finally got the engine out. Took me about 3 hours. The only reason was because the shaft that goes from here and it powers your four-wheel drive, your front wheels basically, was stuck. As you can see, it's a little rusty. So what I had to do is I had to get a piece of metal, angle it that way and hit it off till it finally came off. That's the really hard part about this. Do recommend that you do have somebody helping you. I didn't, so it was a little bit more difficult. But overall, like I said before, you just disconnect everything, loosen these two bolts, and then these two in the front. I don't know if you can see it. And then it drops out, and then just pull it out. Be careful with this because it fell on me. It didn't fall on me, but it fell off the jack stand, so you want to make sure you don't yank so much. So I pressure washed everything, give it a little cleaning before I start tearing into it. Now what I'm going to do is disconnect, well, unmate the transmission and the engine and see how that goes. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, so I finally got it separated. As you can see, a little bit of water got in there. And this is a little rusty. I don't know if this was from when I power washed it or it's been like that for a while, but I'll let you see the engine too. There's a little bit of rust going on there. It was pretty easy, but to separate them, you have to remove this frame that it's in, the carriage, the carrier, whatever you want to call it. There's basically 4 screws here. I know this is facing up, but it's pretty self-explanatory. There's 4 there, 4 on that side. There's 1 here, 1 on that side, and 2 down there, and this thing just slides right off. Then after that, you go right and undo all the bolts around the bell housing there. But so far, so good. Now I'm gonna tear this engine apart, take all the components off. This piece here sheared off. I don't know if this was when I was removing it or that's how it was. I don't really remember. But that's fine, I'll just weld it back on, no big deal. But yeah, this is basically how you remove an engine out of an 09 RTV 1100. I don't know what other years or models it applies to, but that's basically it. This was the problem here. Someone left it uncovered and the walls are toast. It was overheating, so they took it apart and just left it like that. I don't know why, but stay tuned. Next, I'm gonna pull this thing off. And then I'm gonna see if this engine will fit. I'm guessing it will since they're the same thing, but the oil connection is different on this guy. So I don't know if it will work or I have to change that part out, but I'll find out soon. Thanks for watching.